Starting seeds is easy. Keeping them alive is the real skill. Nowhere is that more obvious than with the seeds that I'm starting today, Lisianthus. These guys take a really long time to get going, and it can be 3 months from the time you start the seed to the time you can plant it outside. And that is a really long time to pay attention to something. My Lisianthus last year were absolutely stunning, and I want to challenge myself to show up for them again. So let's start some seeds together and talk about how I care for them as they grow and how I'm hoping to stay on top of everything these seedlings need to become beautiful blooms next summer. There are a lot of different soil mixes you can use to start seeds, but with teensy seeds like Lisianthus, the most important thing is that the texture is fine. No big chunks, because if a tiny seed tries to send out a root and hits a big old chunk of bark or something, that root is not going to make it. Most seed starting mixes that you will buy will be very fine textured, and that's exactly what you want. If you have potting soil on hand, you can use that too. Just sift it first to get rid of any chunks. Now, I am making my seed starting mix this season because I just happen to have all of the ingredients on hand, but I will link some good pre-made mixes that I have tried in the description. I'm using 4 parts coco coir for moisture and structure, 3 parts perlite for airflow, 2 parts vermiculite for holding water and releasing it when it's needed, and 1 part earthworm castings for gentle nutrition. Now I'm going to mix it really well with my hands and make sure there are no clumps. Then I'm going to moisten it and mix it again. You don't want it dripping wet, but you do want it pretty saturated. Think about a kitchen sponge when it's moistened but not dripping water. That's what you're looking for. And when you have the right amount of moisture in there, when you squeeze the soil together, it will clump up a little bit. Once my soil is ready, I'm going to fill up my seed trays. You want to make sure the whole cell is full, so press down on it gently as you're filling it up to make sure there's no air pockets. You don't want it packed in there super tight, but you do want the whole cell to be full. And now these little cells are ready to receive some seeds. Don't forget your labels. I also decided to make some soil blocks. Now, I don't have a ton of experience with soil blocks, but I keep hearing that they're really good for Lisianthus, so I figured we'd try a few. The idea is that instead of roots growing and hitting the side of a pot and circling around and getting root bound, when you use a soil block, the roots hit air at the edge, and that tells the plant to stop growing those roots and grow others in a different direction. Over time, that can lead to a really strong, well-branched root structure. Soil blocks can take a little bit more attention though, so I'm treating it as part of my experiment. Same soil, same seeds, just a different container. And we'll see how it goes. To make these, I'm adding a little bit more water to the soil mix that I already had. Then I'm going to fill up the soil blocker, and then I press the handle and out they come. Tiny seeds like Lisianthus can be a little tricky to sow. Just because they're so small, it's hard to handle them one at a time. Here's a little trick I learned. I lick the tip of a toothpick. I use that to pick up the seed, and then I transfer it to the surface of the soil. Now, it does help if the soil is moist because then the seed will stick where you put it. I'm not going to cover them with soil because these seeds need light to germinate. So I'm just going to leave them as they are. But some seeds need darkness to germinate. So make sure you check your seed packet or do a quick Google so that you can give your seed exactly what it needs. Okay, these babies are planted. I'm just going to mist them a little bit to make sure that the seeds are sticking to the soil, and then we can get them growing. Now I'm going to cover this tray with plastic to keep in the humidity. Lots of trays come with a humidity dome, but this tray doesn't. But the idea is that you want to keep everything in there nice and moist until the seeds have sprouted. Second, I'm growing these in my basement and it's pretty chilly, so I'm going to set these on a heat mat because that will help speed up germination. Lisianthus and most cool flowers prefer to grow in a cooler environment. So once I see that about half the seeds have germinated, I'm going to remove the heat mat. At the same time, I'll also remove the humidity dome and get a fan going on the seedlings so that they can have good airflow. I also want to make sure that the lights are pretty close to the top of the tray, and I want to leave them on for at least 14 hours a day. That strong, consistent light will help the seedlings grow sturdy and healthy. And there we go. You can do it, little guys. I believe in you. So the next step, which for Lizzie's is going to last about 3 months, is to simply care for these little seedlings as they grow. What does that actually mean? Mostly it comes down to a couple of things. Making sure they have the right amount of moisture, consistent, neither too wet nor too dry, keeping the light strong, keeping the airflow moving, and giving them some food every now and then. But I don't have a predetermined routine of tasks to do every day. What I do depends upon what the seedlings need when I check on them. It's not really a checklist of tasks, it's more about consistent attention. Depending on what I see each day when I check them, I'll tweak the environment with these guidelines in mind. Before germination, the soil needs to stay consistently moist, not sopping wet, but moist enough that the seed can always reach water. After germination, I can start letting things dry out a little bit in between waterings. Not a ton, just a little. Look at the soil color. If it's paler, it's probably dry. If it's darker, it's more likely to be wet. You can also lift the tray and feel how heavy it is. If it's very light, it needs water. Now, if you pour a stream of water on a very tiny seedling, you may very well crush it. So, for that reason, it's better to pour the water in the tray and let the seedlings drink it up from the bottom. If things stay too wet for too long, you might see a little bit of green algae growing on the surface of the soil. It's not the greatest, but it's not fatal. You can try watering a little bit less. You can also sprinkle some cinnamon on the surface of the soil, and that will help control the algae. If you imagine these plants growing outside, they would get an abundance of light and airflow. So we want to make sure that they're getting both of those things while they're growing inside as well. I keep my lights on for at least 14 hours a day. And as the seedlings grow, you can move the lights up so that they're still within a couple of inches of the top of the seedling. And once the seedlings are up, I also run a little fan to keep the air moving. Doesn't need to be super strong. We just want that air to move, not be stagnant. This helps prevent many problems and it encourages your seedlings to grow a little stronger. Most seed starting mixes don't have much in the way of nutrients, but as these seedlings start to grow, they're going to need to be fed. I use a very weak, balanced fertilizer, and I give it to them about every 2 weeks while they're growing. I make it at about 1/2 to 1/4 of the strength that it says to use on the bottle, because those instructions are for full grown plants, and these are just babies. We don't want to burn them. Mix your fertilizer in your watering can and pour it in the bottom of the tray, just like you would water. Now, none of this is super complicated, but it does take consistency. And consistency is something I have really struggled with as a gardener. I don't know about you, but my attention is kind of all over the place. And to stop and take a moment to go check on the seedlings is something that slips my mind sometimes. So I think as I approach this Lisianthus experiment, I want to try to reframe that for myself a little bit. I don't want to think about it as, oh, it's a daily chore, something I got to check off my list. Instead, I want to try to think of it as, let me take a break. Let me take a break from the constant onslaught of information and blinky things competing for my attention. And let me just go downstairs and see how these little dudes are doing. And to eliminate even more barriers between me and taking care of my seedlings, I got this new grow light system that I think is going to be easier for me to work with. So once it gets here and I put it together, I will let you know all about it. I'm expecting that these Lisianthus seeds will take a couple of weeks to germinate. And then after that, it's a good 10 to 12 weeks before they're ready to be planted outside. And that is a really long time. Most seedlings need like half as long. In the past, I have sometimes been a little bit haphazard with caring for my seedlings. I would let them dry out too long or I'd forget to feed them, but they still grew and gave me beautiful flowers. Lizzies are a little less forgiving, but I think I'm ready for the challenge. And I have some pre-grown Lizzie plugs arriving in April as a backup. So even if my experiment results in only lessons and no viable seedlings, I'll still have plenty of Lisianthus this summer. But I'm excited to try. Let's see if we can do this. In the coming weeks, we're going to be starting lots more seeds, and we'll keep checking in on these Lisianthus as they grow. So if you'd like to follow along as we grow millions of flowers this season, you're more than welcome to subscribe. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I'll see you in the next one.